What is going on? I'm Zedmont, and once again, we are gonna suffer in Warships. I don't know about you, but it's like just attack and then hide. Code Zedmont in the shop. We have finally gotten to the point where we can move forwards. 118 keys up in the coffers, which means we can finally go into that 5-engine room level. Now, quick note, if you are considering going 5 and towards Seekers, do make sure you have either the laser or the sky shield or possibly the shield generator, because you're gonna have to give one of them up right about there. And going to 5 engine rooms, which, you know what, let's just do that right now. And by the way, my other account, which does not have instant training, is in gold still. It is collecting in gold. It is doing wonderfully, but it has mechs and Everspark and doesn't have a lot of the things. I mean, it's got basically everything. It's got building damage, it's got critters through the tank cost, so that is not this video. This video is going forwards, and you'll notice that we can also go backwards, and that's going to be a very tough call for a lot of people, me included. Critters, so tempting, but I'm going to hold out for the second on this account because we are headed for Seekers, my friends. And if you don't like Seekers, then you might want to consider running Scorchers, because all Scorchers with that troop health and that troop damage could be very good. I just don't have an account to do that on, so I won't be doing that, but there is the boost there as well. And just a quick note that the boost does give, in case you were unsure of how the boost works is it gives you +2 for Cryoneers. And if you have a look at Cryoneers, you get +2 for every level upgrade. And it works the same thing for all troops. So if we look back here, for example, with Riflemen, you get +3. And if you look back here, it's the exact same jump here. So +3. Some troops like mechs, it's +1. But the boost is, and if you're wondering what that plus is, that just relates back to this main island stuff. It just uses the levels from the main island, and some troops get +2 or +3 depending on how many levels there are, because, for example, mechs, there are only, I think, 11 levels of them or something like that, so doing a +3 on mechs wouldn't work terribly well. So anyways, now I am going, this is what I like to do here, is I'm just going to go forwards and force myself to not, just straight up, critters are going to be calling my name, so instead I'm going to force myself to go forward, and to do that, I need to see what everyone has made in that choice. And looking around, it shouldn't come as a giant surprise, but right now, flamethrowers are the overwhelming pick, and that is because Seekers are coming. Seekers are coming. Seekers are a-coming. And I don't want to count chests. Like, there's 2 chests, or probably 4 chests from Seekers, somewhere in that neighborhood. 60 tokens there, minus 654, plus 155, and we're already, that's getting to be, oh, it's going to be close. I think we're going to be 1 key short, if my math is correct. So need to either get rank 15 or just suffer it out. Now, quick note, I am going to be offline. Now, one of the best things about these bouncy melons is that you get them at a low headquarters level. Don't have to wait till headquarters 20 or 21 or whatever it is for bombardiers, and so you get a troop that outranges mortars, outranges snipers and cannons and flamethrowers and machine guns, and all sorts of goodness. Now, what we are going to do here, I am going to boost all of my statues that I can, and that is a total of 0 at the second. So we're going to spend some diamonds, get ourselves some powder, and that way we can salvage that terrible ice statue and get some of these statues boosted. Not all of them, and we are going to focus on the offensive goodness just so that we can do a little bit of extra damage with these guys, getting our melons an artificial boost. And that is all of the statues we're going to boost for the second. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to boost that one because we can't. Now, this is curtain call. This task force is called Junior 9. We've got task forces for every skill level, every ability, every age group, whether it's family friendly with Family 9, no skill, whatever statues, whatever abilities you want to use, whatever troops in Kindergarten 9, or if you want some all-Zuka training on this one. Now, I know it says all-Zuka training, but when there are proto troops, of course, we don't restrict it to that. Now, we are not going to go to that right-hand side because my GBE is not high enough, and I don't think that our low-level bombardiers will be able to burn through that fast enough. What we're going to do instead is just clear from the left, and I know that higher-level players, you can solo this. I could solo this with my eyes closed. Possibly, I should try that. There's a video idea. Attacking operation, no. Probably not with my eyes closed, but I could definitely do it with one hand tied behind my back. That's probably a better way to describe it. And now what we're going to do is just Everspark's going to give us some critters. Probably want to throw a couple... Actually, we don't even need a smoke because those critters are going to protect us for a couple seconds as those other critters don't hit the shock mines, which is fantastic. We're going to be able to get all of our troops in this back left now. And now we are going to throw a shock just to make gosh darn sure that we get some critters out there. And the best thing about melons is they are not harmful. Notice that none of those critters are dying. We have greatness happening. We're going to get a hack out just to make gosh darn sure that Everspark doesn't die, because those boom surprises do shoot very, very quickly. And now we're going to be able to get all of these shield gens. There's only 2, so there are some mortars coming our way, so we're going to throw a quick shock out there because your melons will outrange mortars for the most part, but some of them are going to clump, and if there's not enough room, like these old crotchety old men do require quite a bit of space, and we can't bring any of them back. So notice right there, mortar going towards critters, all of our troops moving forwards, and now we're just going to start chucking GBE towards those back rocket launchers, trying, and you see how we just used 150 GBE. Max level players could have done that in like 20 GBE or something ridiculous, but we are not a max level player on this account, so we're going to have to be a little bit more careful. Those critters keeping our troops alive, barely, and those critter launchers definitely want to wreck our troops, so we need to be a lot bit careful. Don't have to be super careful. These are not grenadiers, so we don't have to worry too much, but we're going to hack that critter launcher just so that all of our troops are moving forwards. And now medkits trying to save the day by the slimmest of slim margins, and if we can get rid of that last rocket launcher, now we can do the old pull-out maneuver, getting back into here, and we have the slimmest chance of a solo. It is not high. Those critters will get that boost. Just a reminder that in the last update, Supercell did allow for critters to get your statue boost, so not only are you boosting your troops, you're also boosting your critters when you use those powders, so do consider that when you're thinking about if you should boost or not. And we've done a pretty darn good job. We are going to lose all of our bombardiers, all of our melons, but we're going to do a whole bunch of damage in the process. And that last rocket launcher, taking out the last of our melons. We've popped the shield, and the next person can finish very, very easily. Now, maybe I should have come back here and gotten rid of that shield that was right about there, but regardless, all those mines would have wasted a bunch of our GBE, so not sure that was a great idea. Also, maybe I should have used my GBE to shock those things instead of spending 150 GBE to barrage them, or I could have used my my GBE back here, because those ones did outrange us and we could have walked through these ones. So definitely a learning opportunity there. Don't use melon bombardiers all that often, but overall pretty happy with that. And using melons on a decent level, curtain call, should be able to just wipe the floor with this operation. No big whoop. Before we go back to warships, I wanted to show you something that you might not have seen before. This is the holy grail. This is the unicorn. This is beyond ridiculous. First of all, Humble Pie does not have any statues. I mean, there's a building damage statue back there with a bunch of building damage, but I don't see a building health statue anywhere, and as a result, Jeff bringing in Grenadiers. Now, any of you who have ever played with Jeff is Mr. Grenadier, so for me to see this made me smile so, so, so big. This, my friends, is a humble pie solo using grenadiers. Just absolutely and utterly ridiculous. This is not bombardiers. Bombardiers probably would. I know melons are here. They wouldn't clear the mines though, so that's like the one tiny advantage that grenadiers do have, and he is just clearing everything with these guys. And the fact that he managed to somehow solo humble pie using grenadiers is so beyond ridiculous that I don't even know where to begin. So I wanted to share this with you just because I know so many people say that grenadiers are garbage and you shouldn't use them, and they do have, look at that, they got all of those lasers behind the core, and now he is just crushing the, and by the way, this is not Milk Run or some other ridiculous operation. This is Forlorn Hope, and yes, it is a very, very lucky roll. Not often will you get a humble pie without building health statue, but to use grenadiers is just so, so good. And I have built a base. Now, this base is not like others that are on the leaderboard. Big shout out to the top of the task force, Nightwada, in Diamond. And in a weird flip of roles, I have sniper towers and mortars, and he has neither. Also, because those players are probably playing with Seekers, I have the laser beam still. We'll be getting rid of that hopefully soon, but first let's see what we can do with warriors. I'll show you how I've been attacking successfully with warriors, and then I will try it. And if you saw this yesterday, lots and lots of red in the log, so it was nice to get a couple wins. And it's as simple as sending a bunch of boats towards that left-hand side. Right about there, because I have tick 3 flares, I need to throw a second flare, and that is just to make sure that they get there, bringing these guys out at the same time, and using smoke, not on defenses, but in front of them, just to make sure that we keep them alive as best as we can. And then this base just so susceptible, and then all we have to do is throw some smokes and a couple smokes there and get all of our troops onto that final engine room. And it's important that you know how big a smoke is and how you don't want to end up covering a bunch of your warriors. Anyways, moving down the line into 236, this base, strange base. There are some strange bases at the 13/14 level. Again, smoke out front, and then just running through this with all of my warrior dudes. And we do have flares, so we can get our troops onto that machine gun and just burn through all of the things, pre-throwing those smokes. And I knew that they had a couple engine rooms left up, so I threw that extra smoke just to make extra sure. First I told you not to throw it on buildings, then I did it, so there's always an exception to every rule. And speaking of, please, if you have something that I have to do at Disney or Universal Studios or Knott's Berry Farm, please do let me know. I am very excited that we're going there during the Lunar New Year. Looks like they've got a bunch of extra cool food and drinks and stuff, but I haven't been to Disneyland since I was 8, and I am definitely not 8 any longer. So there's a couple smokes just to make gosh darn sure that we get some troops going, and just in case it doesn't go down, we've pre-smoked for our other warriors. So there is some fun to be had with warriors. You can flex your warrior skill in your loincloth, but we're going to keep moving. And before we do, wanted to quickly touch on flamethrowers. Seekers are coming. Flamethrowers are what everyone has. Longer term, maybe that'll change, but for the second, flamethrowers are the answer. I kind of assume cannons might become better once we get down in the season a little bit, but for now, flamethrowers are all of the jam. And so we're going to see how our 5 engine room attacks are looking. I have attacked a total of probably 2 5 engine room bases over the past couple days. Very, very few. And I was always 4 versus 5, and I think I lost every one. So hopefully now we can change our tidings, change our somethings. One thing also that I have done a couple times is mix in 1 boat of Cryoneers with my warriors, which feels really dumb, but for those clump bases where you're just burning through stuff, it does help. We're not going to be doing that now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to send We're going to send 5 boats. They almost definitely have Seekers, but they also have the shield gen. So you never really know. Like, I was looking for a laser, didn't see one, and I thought maybe, just maybe, but we're going to go something like this. We're going to send 5 here, and then what we're going to do is send these guys on this side after the fact. And that might seem crazy, but these guys on the middle are going to go to the right, and I would like these guys to wrap around to the back. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, and these shock mines are going to be a complete and utter pain in my derriere. But what I'm hoping is that all of these guys, by the time they finish that engine room, we're going to have to throw a couple smokes here just to make gosh darn sure that our troops stay alive. Come on, go around the back. Look at that. We got a decent split. That is way better than I had hoped. And we're going to pre-smoke onto there. That way those smokes do expire in a reasonable amount of time. I knew there was going to be a shock mine there somehow, some way, and now new shock mine, new smoke. Just trying our darndest to clear through as much of this stuff as we can, knowing that our warriors are going to hit every single shock mine because this person's base is almost certainly set up to do exactly that. As we hit yet another shock mine, we've got rid of all of the defenses except for this one cannon though, so we should be able to beat this if we're super duper quick, and then we'll throw a smoke just to try to cover our troops, but of course it won't land. So against Yomasta, a member of the Love Boat Society, and it looks like hey, look at that. I talked about adding a boat of Cryoneers with your warriors, and sure enough, look at that, a boat of Cryoneers with the warriors, and they're going right dead center with a ground flare, which by the way is a great way to play with warriors. That is a higher level skill ability, but we've got a shock mine set up exactly there, hidden away, and they are going to fizzle. So we are going to get my first win in the 5 engine room level together as a group. Go team. They left 2 engine rooms up. We got a halfway decent time back into 14. I would like to get into 15 because that just the math of getting into Seekers, that is going to be 30. That is going to be, did I do this math already? I started to record, then I had to delete. So 32 plus 28 is obviously 60, plus 1 is 61. I've already got 6. That puts us at, you guessed it, 55? Did I say 65? Anyways, and plus 3 times 18, I think we're going to be 1 key short for Seekers, which is going to really suck. So I'd really like to get into 15, which shouldn't be too hard, except for the fact that I have no time to do nothing. So let's get out of here. We're going to do an operation attack just to finish up. And we are going to do it on a max level account, and we are going to boost all of the things. Now, when I say all of the things, I'm not boosting my my engraver, but maybe we should. Just for something to do. Power Surge is tempting. We are going to go against a lot of boom cannons and things, so you know what? Let's give Power Surge a try. It is very much underrated. Boosting our engraver, because why the heck not? We're going to do an operation attack against Redline. Now, I have this hit down pat with Bullet, but there's no grappler right there usually. And that is why we have mixed in some of the, brain Power Surge. Plus, we're going to use Everspark. This is going to be a little bit wonky, a little bit different, but it should be fairly fun. And we're going to go something like this. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then eventually, once those dudes start walking out, hoping, of course, one of them just had to walk into the wrong spot, and then we're going to go something like that. Is that going to be perfect? No, but we're going to get chucking from all of our guys, like every single one of our guys, all at one time, shocking all of the things. All of the rocket launchers are long gonzo, and now we just need Everspark to keep those hacks coming as we clear through all of this stuff. That grappler is going to cause a giant problem for us in a giant way if we don't get rid of it in a gosh darn hurry. Shock launcher, come on, shock launcher, do us a little bit of a solid. And now we need to be a lot bit careful, because if we let our dudes here hit all of those front shields, bad things happen. So we're going to come back into here, and we're going to do our best to get those shields down. I don't know how well it's going to go, though, so we have already done a halfway decent job. Got rid of the grappler, got rid of the shock launcher, got rid of all of the rockets, and now we're just going to keep hacking our way forward so that those boom cannons get the heck out of our way. Probably need to throw a medkit about there on top of that barbed wire, and now looky, solid job, and we're getting extra GBE thanks to Power Surge, sort of. Getting rid of all of these buildings, and now we're going to flare back into here and just hope that our critters distract enough to get enough health on our dudes to get them chucking onto those front shields. Now, this is a dangerous play, but we've got the melons for other attacks, so I'm not super duper concerned about it. So you'll notice that the melons hitting those front shields, they don't bounce as much, and grenadiers miss a lot more, so we're just going to chuck all of our GBE, which is not a lot of GBE, towards those back shields, and I have sort of hamstrung our task force a little bit on this, but the next hitter will be able to get all of those shields without a heck of a lot of difficulty. So generally speaking, if you're not sure of your task force, don't attack in this fashion, because anytime you remove those front shields, it is a bad idea. You know what? We also need to throw some critters back here to clear the mines for the core hitter, because they're going to go up the middle through right where those mines were, and they're going to hit from back behind core. So we have done a halfway passable job, especially considering the fact there was a grappler there and the full boost melons. Now, we should probably lose the last of our melons here, and if they can keep chucking, all the better. It looks like maybe, just maybe, we've got enough range to get the rest of the stuff, which would be just that much better. But you see how they don't bounce nearly, or miss long nearly as much as grenadiers do, so we are in a little bit of a pickle, but if you're anything like me, you go through a jar of pickles in no time flat. So that is it. Pickles and bouncing melons, two things that go pretty darn well together. So hopefully you guys are having a hoot on Season 70. I think we're starting to get to that point where we've gotten out of the woods, and it's not so much about just hiding and waiting and delays and just trying to be conservative and all of the rest of it. So we have a couple more seconds and a couple more melons to bounce, and that is the operation attack. We got 46 big force points, and my goodness, melons are expensive. So getting all of the gold, and would love to hear from you guys if you're using your bunkers. Bunkers do cost a bunch of gold, and you can see I am just not using them because I prefer the gold for other things, but maybe, just maybe, bunkers to warships would be a good call. And by the way, this warship, you can tell I went to 5. We need to pick up all of those things, and I actually did the dumb thing where I attacked against someone when I hadn't picked things up. So if you do jump to 5 and then get distracted, I would highly recommend picking up your buildings so you don't have a base set up, or maybe you're all just smarter than me. Anyways, that is all for me. Do let me know if you're using the engraver. Let me know if you're loving the melons, if you're playing warships, if you're hiding, if you're going to 5 or 6, or if you're using Scorchers, how they're doing, and more importantly, Disney, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios. Have you been lately? What was your favorite ride? I can't wait to take my kids on Space Mountain. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. Code ZMOD in all sources, especially when it expires. Anyways, I'm out. Talk to you on Wednesday. Peace.